Last time on the Wizard Cast.
Eureka! Oh, what is it, Brian? Did you actually finally figure it out? Who booked Parker Harris?
No! I have discovered the secret to spell anything.
Spelling anything? Okay, really? How?
I know the secret to spell anything.
That's ridiculous. I don't believe you. Spell flossy-noxy-nihilpilification.
Anything.
Yep, that's definitely not how you spell flossy-noxy-nihilpilification.
Of course not. I said I knew the secret to spelling anything.
This is so stupid. Brian, what about figuring out who booked Parker Harris? Isn't that the whole point of these little plot blurbs that we do at the beginning of every episode?
I didn't get around to it this week. I was too focused on how to spell anything.
But you just told me you can't spell anything.
No, I did spell anything.
But you didn't spell flossy-noxy-nihilpilification.
Well, I can't even pronounce it. I don't even know what it means. I mean, but if I spell that, then I'm not spelling anything.
But you would be spelling something.
No, something is spelled S-O-M-E-T.
All right, I get it.
And now the conclusion of the Wizard Cast.
I'm Brian Kwong.
And I'm Mark Ross.
We're Salesforce experts that love talking about technology and Salesforce.
We also love humor. Doesn't mean we're actually good at it.
In the Salesforce community, I'm known as the Salesforce Wizard, likely due to me wearing a wizard hat at Salesforce events.
And I'm known as Salesforce Yoda for pretty much the same reason.
You should see the ears.
We have a passion to help educate and entertain people.
So we've joined forces to create Wizardcast.
We've got tips and best practices.
We talk with interesting people.
All mixed with quote-unquote jokes and humor.
Welcome to the Wizardcast. You know, Mark, today I gave away all my dead batteries.
Yeah?
They were free of charge.
How kind of you. You can submit jokes to us, too, just like that. Gem. Email us at wizardcast@thewizardnews.com, or if you're feeling brave, just want to hear your voice on the show, you can leave a voicemail by calling 608-492-0321. Make sure you tell us your name so we can give you the credit for the joke that you deserve.
I mean, they could have been rechargeable batteries.
Then why would you have given them away? They'd still be useful.
I didn't say they weren't useful.
What are you going to use dead batteries for?
Bad jokes?
You know, I'm pretty sure, Brian, I'm quite convinced our intros and our jokes are quantitatively getting dumber. I didn't think it was possible, yet here we are. It's like you don't even care anymore.
Wait, are you, Mark, are you insulting the introduction of the guest for this episode that I haven't even made yet?
No, I'm sure your introduction will be fine. It was everything before the introduction.
Including this bit now?
Well, yes, technically it is before the introduction. Wait a second, I helped to write this. I'm hoisted by my own petard. Can we just do the introduction?
I really wish I actually wrote the full intro, because that's what I usually do, Mark, is I actually write the intro, because I'm not smart enough to do something as simple as say that today's guest, we have the Senior Manager of Product Strategy for Customer and Market Insights, Scott Allan, who has a returning guest. So for some reason, we must be an okay viewers, because he's coming back. And he brought along Anusha. I already forgot.
Yep. Nope. There it went.
Anusha Surepeddi.
There you go.
Director of Product Management at Salesforce Focus on Analytics. And we're going to talk about something really special, really important, that's even a little bit time sensitive. So I hope you're listening the day that the episode came out or the next day, because I don't remember. What are we talking about? I didn't write it down, Scott.
We were talking about IdeaExchange prioritization.
That's right. Yeah, so
it's almost as if it's a priority, something we
Yes.
should be talking about.
Well, I think the first priority should always be to listen to the episode the day, the hour that it drops. But
that's right. Our sponsors demand
You're
it.
listening to
secondary that
now.
is also the IdeaExchange.
That was then. Now is now.
We're listening to now.
Now? Terrible Spaceballs reference. We're getting old. No one's going to understand these jokes. So for those of you who've been living under the rock or maybe new to Salesforce, Salesforce has this thing called the IdeaExchange.
If you're living under Dwayne Johnson.
If you're living under Dwayne Johnson.
You said
First
living
of
under
all,
the rock.
Thank you. Secondly,
We're sorry, Anusha. It doesn't usually go this crazy so quickly.
No.
I would blame the allergy medication, but I haven't taken any. Secondly, Salesforce has this little place where customers can post what they would like to have changed or added to the platform. They call it the IdeaExchange. We had an episode a little more than 10 episodes ago that focused on some of the changes that was coming to the IdeaExchange for this prioritization concept, which was formally released at Dreamforce. And as of May 18th, 2020, we're in another round, right? Today's the day? Assuming today's Monday, Scott?
We're in another round. You have 2 weeks to prioritize another set of top ideas from the IdeaExchange.
So when you're talking about prioritization, what do you mean?
So the IdeaExchange itself has existed for over 13 years, but the new piece that we added was this part where you can better connect, the showing what you want Salesforce to build based on these ideas to our actual product planning process. So we were piloting it for the last year, and then at Dreamforce announced the new part of the site where we put together with our product managers a list of top ideas that they're considering for an actual upcoming release. And you can apply coin to that, prioritize that short list of ideas, and then our commitment back is that we'll develop the top prioritized ideas.
Yeah, you said commit coin to that. So we're bribing you, we're paying you to pick up the ideas we want you to do?
In theory, but actually no. The coins have no monetary value. But every round, our customers, as long as you have a trailblazer.me login, you can get a stack of 100 coins and apply them to these ideas. And what we did in January was do our first round of prioritization, actually using the new part of the website, and took a look at those results, passed those on to the product managers, and then committed to developing actually 4 of the top ideas from that January round.
And why do we only have 2 weeks?
We thought about what's going to be an amount of time that gives enough people to actually review the information. And, this is a list of 10, 11, we've got 12 ideas coming up in this round to, review the information of what could actually be built based on these ideas, but also time box it enough so that we could get the feedback from the community and pass it off to our product managers before they start planning for the next release. So we kind of shopped around the length of time as we went to different community events, and 2 weeks seemed to be about right to create enough momentum and energy to get a lot of responses that we'd need.
And how do you decide which items go into that 11 or however many it is? Is it always going to be 11? What's that process?
Well, we hope the number of ideas that get on that list continue to grow as we onboard more and more product teams into this prioritization process. Not all of our products are currently represented through this process yet. We have a goal this year to increase that cycle over cycle. But basically what we do is we sit down with the product managers and have them review the top ideas for their area and ask them to help us determine, is this something that they could start to build in the next cycle? Doesn't mean they have to deliver in that next release, but they commit to start to work on it. Because some ideas are a lot tougher than others to build and may take multiple releases. And if they can, great, we'll put it on the list. And if they can't, then we'd like them to actually drop a comment or update the status of the idea just to let the community know why that may be the case. Maybe something they can't work on right now, maybe something that they'll never work on, and we're trying to get better about actually marking those as closed and never with an explanation why. But it's really based on right now what's sitting at the top of the idea stack for that particular product area.
And why is it that some items are going to take longer? Obviously there's the idea of code. Some changes take a lot of code, some changes don't. But what other factors can actually play into that whole process? Why isn't it just just sit down and develop it and be done?
Oh, I wish it was that easy. I think
there's a couple different factors, and I know, and and Anusha can talk to this because you've had a variety of ideas from small ones to really large ones, and probably one of the biggest things is when you're dependent on other teams. But yeah, Anusha, why is there such varying lengths of time that it takes to develop ideas?
Yeah, no, it's a really good point. And, when we go through the ideas, I'm a PM in analytics, so I review the reports and dashboard ideas. And most of these ideas are like 10 years ago. And, I see customers really wanting an update. And it's really funny because, the ideas have to match with our product strategy, right? That's ultimately the question. Because initially, like for us specifically, with the move to Lightning, we were heavily focused on making sure all the features in Classic work in Lightning. And that took us 4 years. It took us 4 years to get all the reports and dashboard features into Lightning. And that was our product strategy is, okay, we're going to make things better in Lightning. Things are going to be, more usable. So focus really on the usability of things and not so much on the ideas. So we were kind of putting the ideas on the back burner almost for some time. We kept it in mind, and some of the ideas did get delivered as part of Lightning, but many of them didn't because that was not the product strategy that we were going after. We were going after making sure that, Lightning is really, awesome for customers in terms of more usable, faster and all those things. So it really, for us, it's kind of like, what is the product strategy for these ideas? We just can't do it. We just can't only deliver ideas as a product team.
Because you also have other tasks you have to take care of, right? You have maintenance. You have, of course, there's always, dare I say it, bugs that have to be addressed. It's a lot to handle. Any given team, they're not just developing brand new features.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's usually a balance, right? We are always trying to balance trust. Salesforce trust is our number one value. So yeah, we have bugs. We have other work items coming up, dependencies from other teams that we look at. But overall, the main thing is is this team that's planning to do this, can we actually deliver this? And does it go with our strategy and what we're trying to do?
Yeah. So like a dependency from another team, for example, maybe there's something that would be a really nice idea, but it doesn't work because of the way the database is structured. So maybe you have to work with another team who actually handles the actual database, and you're waiting on them to do their work. And maybe they're blocked by something else. They have something else they have to address before they can get to the issue that is blocking you.
Yeah, that's correct, right? I mean, because, when we look at how we build software, it's just not one huge team, right? Then we have different structures and how we do things. Each team has different priorities. So yeah, getting alignment across the teams has always been a challenge, especially Salesforce is becoming a bigger company. So just having that alignment of, of delivering these ideas and making sure that those dependencies make it through.
So when you're looking at the ideas, Anusha, other than the concept of, hey, it's got to kind of match the product direction, is there something else that you consider when deciding whether or not you're going to potentially pick up an idea? And let me give you an example. So this was something that came out I think posted 13 years ago, and that was the ability to print dashboards. And it got updated fairly recently by you about saying why you weren't planning on doing that particular idea, but there's another thing that you're considering to do, making it exportable to a PDF, I believe is what you said. But when you looked at that, what are you considering to say, well, we want to do something, but it's not something you necessarily are going to do to actually address? How do you make that decision?
Yeah, so I mean, it's really this printable functionality, though sometimes it could seem basic, it actually requires a rendering service technology. And with the scale for reports and dashboards, right, we have over 2 billion reports that run per month. With that kind of scale, allowing users to download, a printable version of something, it's basically a service that we have to build. And, to be honest, right, my team doesn't do services. We build UI and APIs. So it's really okay, what is the team that could build this type of service? So it goes back to we have to file a dependency on a team that owns services, platform services. And so we have to wait again for that team to kind of build up that service, scale that service, and then we can integrate with them. So that's been kind of the challenges. We look at that idea, but our team, given the resources and situation, we can't implement that idea at this point.
Okay.
And that's assuming the team exists.
Maybe
true. maybe a new team has to be formed in order to tackle that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that kind of team, it probably is not just for this idea, right? So we would need like a platform team that could leverage this type of services for other similar things. Maybe other features also want to, for example, print or export to PDF.
Do you need like a group of customers to go out and maybe rally Brett Taylor or Parker Harris to get you like more resources and additional teams to do stuff?
Yeah, no, that is part of it, right? Like I think, as part of this whole new idea exchange philosophy is kind of like, how do we get more resources to fund these ideas? Because that's not the way the current structure is. So that's one of the things. The other things is like, we also take a look at like some of our top customers and we see patterns there too. And we also try to relate, does that make sense to the ideas? So ideas is not the only thing that goes into our roadmap. We do take a look at like, okay, in our customer advisory boards, what are our top customers saying? What are patterns coming in from the Lightning Report Builder feedback? In Lightning Report Builder, we have in-app feedback, of got feedback. You can fill out like what you want to improve on it. So we look at those responses too. So we actually kind of take multiple approaches. And the reason for that is because we've noticed a lot of the ideas are actually done by admins. I love admins, but, sometimes end users also have interesting feedback. And that end user feedback is actually coming in from that Lightning Report Builder got feedback button. So it's more end users are likely to fill that out, a quick survey, than submit an idea.
I think a lot of users don't even know the IdeaExchange exists.
Yeah, no, exactly. So that's the pattern that we notice. Like when we talk to kind of like who's posting this idea, it seems to be skewed towards one type of user. And that's kind of the challenge, right? Like as a product manager, we can't only skew or build products only for one type of user base.
To your question of, can we get people to rally Brett to add more resources? Has anybody ever answered no to that question? We'd all love additions to our team for sure.
I'm every time I ask the question, I'm a little afraid that suddenly there's going to be this big 20 rally. They said Brian told us to go tweet at Parker or tweet at Brett and harass him, so we can get so and so. So far, it hasn't. I don't think it's ever happened. And if it has, I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's part of why it's interesting when we do this prioritization exercise. Right now, we're doing it with multiple product areas represented. And on our own roadmap, we want to do cloud by cloud prioritization so that Anusha can really take a larger list than just a couple of analytics ideas and, see where there's energy for, operational reporting and kind of the whole analytics space. But one of the things that we're, learning from this is, given the ideas that exist and the customer base that exists, what is the community telling us in these exercises that we're doing that are cross cloud? And it may be that we are underinvesting in a particular area. So Anusha has been delivering a ton of ideas, and that's at least signaled to us, hey, there's still a lot that the community would like out of the analytics area. So how can we as a company support that? So we'll kind of take dual approaches so that we're making sure that we have some information to share with Brett and others to say, hey, the community is really trying to steer us as a company to invest more in this particular area, while also in the future giving each product area a chance to steer that team into which particular ideas they should be working on.
So when we first started, we kind of talked about the whole prioritization method. You're putting coins in to basically say how much you want a particular idea to be made that made the prioritization list. Once something wins, like you said, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come out the next release. Some ideas are more complicated than others. Where's the feedback to the community as that process moves through? Because from my knowledge, once something hits prioritization and you see the blog saying here's what won, I don't think I've seen anything that until you hit. I don't think I've seen anything come out into its like release notes time saying, hey, this is in beta pilot or general availability. So is there something I've missed between, hey, the idea got one prioritization to, hey, it's in beta or generally available?
Probably. We need to check your email communication preferences. But No, I think that's what you described was often what was happening before, where an idea would be logged, it would get upvoted, there'd be some momentum, and then sometimes all of a sudden it's been flipped to delivered. And if you're lucky, some release notes got populated in there. And so part of what this whole prioritization piece is designed to do is to create more of a rhythm and a cadence tied to our release process so that you can better follow, hey, what's happening with this idea? So the ones that win, one of the things that we heard from the community is, hey, be very transparent with the results. So, shortly after the 2-week period where you can prioritize closes, those results are posted on that prioritization section of the IdeaExchange. So you can see exactly what we're handing off to the product managers. But when we hand that off, that's at the very, very beginning of their release planning process. So it'll take them several months to really, do spikes against that idea, to validate that, the estimated general availability date, which we pressured them for, several months prior, does that still hold true, or have they uncovered more dependencies from other teams that might make that a little bit tougher to deliver within that time frame? And it's once they're done going through that planning and really starting to commit to what's going to be developed in a future release, that's when we essentially come back and say, hey, we've got some winners. The product teams have actually committed to developing these ideas. Fingers will get on keyboards to actually work on this. So we've started to send out emails to the Trailblazer community for those who are subscribed to get those, to announce, hey, here are the winners. And then we flip that page to show the winners. So well, today you could go and see the 4 winners, but by the time this airs, you won't. We'll be into the prioritization.
So you're saying you're hiding the past information. So if you slip, there's no way for us to know.
There's a button. It's go see past winners. It's there, Brian. Calm down.
Yeah, we got a winners tab.
Well, does that get up at let's use an idea that won from Anusha's team, and that's the automatically add new custom fields to report types. That one, I believe it's currently in development. But if something happens and the original estimation data, what release that could be slips, how do we know? Is there something that gets updated to let us know that, hey, we thought this was going to be 3 releases and now it's going to be longer?
We are trying to make that better, that process. But right now what we're doing is we're commenting on that idea so that, the users that care about that idea can get an update as to, oh yeah, this is coming into beta or this is going general availability. We are posting updates on that idea itself.
Okay, so for folks who are genuinely interested in doing that, they should definitely go comment and vote on the idea, even after prioritization. So, because I believe that's how you essentially get signed up for the email.
Yeah, that's right.
Using the current voting platform that exists, you have to comment on an idea to enroll in the notification. As the team is currently working on revamping the posting and voting part, we hope to make that a much easier process in the future. But you can always go to the winning ideas section of the site too. And, if we hear from a product manager that the availability date has changed, they'll comment on the idea itself, but we'll also make sure that list is up to date on that winners page.
So looking at this past round that happened in the last prioritization cycle, we had, these 11 items that were there. 4 of them were analytics items, but none of them won. So, Anusha, I guess you're off the hook. We're never going to deliver those items, right?
No, I mean, no, I think, it's some of them will come back, right? So the reason why I think they didn't win this time is we just had so much more interesting ideas than the ones we shared, the ones we posted in the cycle. But no, I think they're still really relevant because when I talk to customers during calls, they tell me this. They're like, oh, I voted, but that idea didn't win. So I think it's, still definitely relevant. And, there's few ways we can handle it, right? One way is just because it doesn't win doesn't mean it's not on our roadmap. We can still, we can still try to fit it into our roadmap. The other thing is we can also get that idea for next round. It's just that this round, maybe there's just so much more really cool ideas, that it didn't win this time, but maybe next time it will. So my team and I were analyzing in the next round, which of those ideas should we keep versus change around.
So whether or not it gets picked up for another prioritization, is that a PM's decision or?
Yeah, so filter dashboard via URL parameters was on the list in January. It's come back again for the current round. And that's a question that often comes up. Hey, if something doesn't win, will we see it again? In most cases, yes, you could. And there's a couple things that play into that. One is, have other ideas gotten more votes, in the few months since the last round that would place it higher than one of the ideas that was on before? If so, then it might kind of take the top spot. The other thing is, sometimes ideas will come on or off because as the team's looking at the work ahead, they, unblocked a dependency, or now there is a blocker, dependency on another team doesn't satisfy. And I think something that we're always going to be, looking to the community to guide us on is, hey, if something keeps showing up on the list, but it doesn't win multiple times, at what point should it kind of fall off and create some space for another idea? We'll see as that continues to happen, kind of where we go with that. But of course, always open to feedback.
So what sort of items do we have upcoming on this next round? On this current round?
Yeah, because it's Monday, May 18th.
Yeah, we're totally recording this on Monday.
Yeah, so this round we have a total of 12 ideas. We've got 3 from analytics, another platform idea. We have 3 sales cloud ideas, which are made up of some repeats that you've seen before, 3 service cloud ideas, and then I'm pleased to announce that we've onboarded another cloud to this process. So you'll see 2 community cloud ideas for prioritization.
So, Anusha, you have 3 ideas up on there. You rooting for any particular one of them?
Yes. Do you have a favorite child that you'd like to be voted for?
Yeah. I think we are putting inline editing in reports, and I think that's huge, honestly.
That is huge.
For end users especially, I often hear oh yeah, this is so frustrating. I just want to edit this one field and I have to make 5 clicks to do that. I would just like to do it on my report. So yeah, we're super excited to put this idea for the first time on the prioritization, and I do hope it wins this round.
You can't see me because I turned my camera off, but I am a little bit freaking out here over that prospect.
Yeah, we're finally becoming like list views. List views had inline editing for a while, and people like list views so much because of that. So I think reports are also going to become more popular because of this now.
And it's a new feature. It's a new release, so it's probably not going to be, edit anything at any point in any report in any way you wish. There's probably going to be, it's the first release. We're going to have a little bit of limitation on it, right?
Yeah. I mean, limits are probably going to be around how many, what type of fields could you edit, right? We might not allow every type of field to be edited. Mm-hmm. It seems like it's super valuable for fields like manager notes, which is just a text area field. Mm-hmm. It's really quick to do that. So we definitely want to enable it for the common use cases, but maybe not for all types of fields. There's all kinds of weird field types we support in Salesforce. So we might not do it for all of them. And then the other thing might be that, reports, right? Reports have a lot of joins, right? You can join your report with a bunch of different types of objects. We might just support a single object initially, just opportunities rather than opportunities with products report. So we usually like to start small for reporting features, just because we're always concerned about scale and performance. One of the big things is everyone wants reports to run fast, but they also want all of these other features and ideas. So it's really a tricky balance between performance and new features for us, because usually new features add on to the performance of running reports. So how do we balance what features we add versus making sure we don't degrade the report runtime performance?
Lots of different balls to keep up in the air.
It's a fun list of limitations with reports.
So, we've been talking about the prioritization round and some of the ideas, and since we have both a product manager and we have Scott here, I would like what your thoughts are on what makes a good idea. And by that, I don't mean the function, but I mean when we as customers are writing or posting an idea, what is the type of information that genuinely makes it a good idea for you, as in it provides the type of information you want to be able to go, oh, yeah, this is something we want to pick up, or this is something that I need more information on, or so forth. The content. What's the content that goes in?
So I think one of the things that helps not only our product managers but also the rest of the community decide whether idea has some good merit to it is more information about the situation and where it would be used, the objective that the user is actually trying to achieve, and the impact they would have if they could meet that objective. And then we love to hear about the use cases and their actual idea for a solution to meet that objective. So we'll see very simply stated ideas, one of them on the prioritization list this time, like history tracking on tasks. At face value, sounds great. I think people could think of a lot of different use cases where that would be useful. What I found in trolling through the comments is that people are describing, yeah, that would really help me as an admin, because then it could help users understand why workflow kicked off, because they could go back in history and see what they did to kick that off, to trigger that workflow. Or I would really like to improve our sales productivity by finding rogue processes or invalid updates that are occurring. And if I had that history tracking on, I could actually go do it. And I think hearing those use cases or what impact they would have helps other people add their own use cases. And I imagine that's a lot more helpful for our product managers when they can get in the mind of our customers of how they use this stuff and find these rich examples, because then they can build a more complete feature. But Anusha, I'd love to hear what you are looking for when you pick up a good idea.
Yeah, no, very similar, Scott. Like, the more detailed, the better, right? Like, if the idea is kind of generic, it's really tough, for us as well, because we have to go, sometimes what we do is like, we literally have to go and talk to many of the users who commented on this to find the use case. Because the more detailed the use case you can provide, the better it is for us. Like, some ideas are really good. Like, they even have images and they clearly describe, like, as an admin, I want this. And I feel like one good idea that did that is actually the one that won last time, which is the auto adding new fields to report types. That had a very clear use case. And it's easier to implement definitely the ideas that have clear use cases. Because for us also, like, we don't have necessarily a lot of time to go and talk to all the users who posted comments on that idea to kind of understand all the different use cases. So then we're kind of playing a guessing game, like what use cases do we address? Which ones do we not address? Because we don't have time to like build out every single use case possibly if it's that generic. So definitely more tailored ideas would be good, more images describing the exact use case. Like, okay, as this kind of person, I want to see this, that would really be helpful.
So I should remove the ones that says this feature really sucks, please fix it.
Yes.
Unless you want to add, an image or an emoji of just, how much.
Oh, I'll show you an image, Scott.
And those comments do exist. Those ideas do exist. They are out there. Let's just put this out here for the record. Are those effective at all? No,
not really, right? Like, for us when we're reviewing it, I mean, those ideas, it just seems like a complaint. To us, like, you can send us an email directly, or you can use our in-app framework for these type of things, in-app feedback. But yeah, like ideas, should be a little bit more, definitely should be more detailed and clear as to what they want. Because otherwise it's just like noise to us. It should just be like coming in as part of an email or, as part of like the in-app feedback. That's really kind of geared towards complaints like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime that we can get some, constructive or encouraging information, it's going to help. And as we think about the next version of the voting and posting part of the site, we're going to try to make it easy to flag in the comments, like, hey, I'm not just providing a generic comment, because sometimes it's great. People want to pile on and say they support the idea beyond just upvoting it. But we really want to start to call out if somebody's adding an additional use case, to flag that comment as a use case, so that other users can go and filter the comments by use cases. And then the second thing is workarounds. Our community has a great number of ways to, achieve whatever is being described in the idea, your workarounds. And so we want to be able to have people mark their comment as a workaround too. And again, so the community and our product managers can go filter by those comments and get that information more quickly.
So this is going to maybe sound like a stupid question, but you used the term use case a few times. Can you give me an example of what you mean by use case? Because that may not be a concept a lot of people are familiar with.
Yeah. So, I mean, a use case is really like, I guess in the software world, it's like, in the use case kind of when you're developing things in an agile way, it's like as what type of persona, like who does this affect, right? It's like what type of users is this affecting? Is this like an end user, an analyst, an admin? In very bare terms, like what type of users are, could benefit from this? And what is the use case in the sense that of what is kind of like, what do you want from that? An example of that is, again, like going back to the auto add feature is, as an admin, I want an automatic way for new fields to be added to report types. And that's very clear because, okay, this is the type of person it is. And what they're looking for is a faster way for fields to be added to report types, because currently it's very manual, right? So even telling them that what is the current way, how they do things, and then this is a future state. So the current state's not great because I spend a lot of time manually doing it. I would like a faster way to do it this way. So usually it's like, okay, as a persona, I want this so that I get some benefit. Right. So that's pretty much it. Like, what is the kind of user you're looking at? What type of users? What is the exact functionality you're looking at? And how does this really benefit you and others?
It's funny. I'm actually looking at the IdeaExchange right now. I pulled up what are the analytics ideas that were created most recently. We're talking like a bunch of 10-point items. And there's one that actually says use case. As a finance user, I would like to see my financial balances. Like they actually wrote the idea in exactly the format you're talking about.
That's perfect. You get an A plus.
This is a 10-point idea. It needs more votes. Get out there, people.
Yeah.
Links in the show notes.
Well, we debated heavily too whether in the new idea submission form, do we really try to structure it to stuff out that type of information? But we wanted to make the barrier to entry pretty low. So it's still a good old text box, but we're going to try to include some more information about how to structure the information that you put in there, which is probably a good time to say that there is the IdeaExchange Basics badge on Trailhead where you can learn how to post a good idea.
I didn't know there was a badge, and we'll have the link in the show notes. Yeah, I like the idea of having some sort of a template guide, because I will admit there's been times where I've gone to post an idea and I get burned out just trying to figure out what category to put it in. Because, I just don't know. That's coming from someone who's been doing it for 10 years. So I can imagine, someone who isn't even an admin, if they were going to come to the IdeaExchange, might be completely lost in trying to figure it out. So I'll keeping it simple, but giving some level of guidance to what you want would be probably make the ideas just better.
I say we've got a few items on our longer term roadmap to make it easier to get the right idea into the right category, and also to make sure that it's getting to the right team, behind the scenes.
Yeah, sometimes that's prohibitive. Sometimes it's like people get stuck on, I don't know how to categorize this, and they literally stop submitting the idea and they just give up right there.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we don't want. We want the ideas. So at worst case, put it in a category that closely matches, what you think it is, and we'll take the burden of trying to sort it out on the back end, get it to the right
If
team.
only you knew a company that had some sort of artificial intelligence software system that could learn based on past records that meet your criteria to auto-categorize the ideas for you.
Were you taking a look at our roadmap?
I was gonna say, do you want me to post an idea about the idea?
Yeah, so we can claim victory on it someday.
I'll take the point retirement goal. I'm still waiting for my sad 3,000 point analytic idea from 2 years ago to get prioritized or commented on.
What is it?
So, I'm a big fan of the classic report builder. Although Lightning Report Builder is warming up on me, but the main reason is for creating new reports, because in a lot of the customers I work with, they have similarly named fields. So think of like currency fields where they might have multiple fields with the word amount in it. And in the classic report filter, I could filter with the word amount and then select multiple fields, highlight them, drag them on the report, or double click on it on each field and really quickly add them to the report. Where in the Lightning Report Builder, I would have to do amount, add one field, amount, add the second field, amount, add the third field. So mine was to add back the functionality that was on the classic report builder to make it so you can quickly filter and add more than one field at a time.
Yeah, so you want multi-select pretty much, or like a quick way to double click and just add it.
Yeah, without having to reapply the filter.
Ah, okay. Interesting. Yeah, that's a good usability one. Maybe we'll put it next time. Next time. We'll consider it.
I would like to say that I did not bring it up for the hope that the PM who's on my show might take interest in it and prioritize it, but that would be a complete lie. I'm not that altruistic.
No, it's a good one. Yeah, we'll look into it.
And I'm going to go read that idea now just to see how well you structured your submission.
Well, and that's perfectly valid. I will admit, I did not say the words "as an admin" on there, but and I'll put the link in the chat because I don't have anything to hide. Says the man with his video camera off. I did start with positive feedback first.
There you go.
There you go. I didn't say this feature sucks. Please fix it. But I think there's a comment to that effect further down.
Not by you, though.
Not by me. I will admit that I have a tendency to do this. If I have an idea, I'll do my best to try to see if there's an idea that already exists to pile on. But sometimes what I think something was called isn't the same as what someone else had already referred to it, so it's hard to show up. And but something to add to your list if it's not already there, I would really love to be able to search for just ideas, because right now if I do a search, it's searching the entirety of the Trailblazer community, and I don't need to know about posts on the collaboration side or in answers. I'm just looking for existing ideas. But I'll put the idea out there, and then I'll share it on social media, and then I almost promptly forget about it, because all the emails that I get after that fact are usually people are saying, oh, this is frustrating, or oh, hey, this is great, or please, I just want this, or sometimes it's just plus 10. And I have no idea if the email is because there's a comment I actually care about to go look at it. So I'll maybe once a quarter, or maybe even just once a year, I'll go back and look at the ideas that I have open and see if there's anything I need to add to it. But once posted and once shared, I usually don't bother going back to it until I see it come up in prioritization or to release notes, and I go, yay, that's me.
Well, I imagine that's how Mark is missing some of your emails, because he's got that same filter set up for idea comments that just, go in the circle bin, and you must have accidentally set it for your email too.
I'm pretty sure I go straight to spam at this point with Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Why would I bother taking the time to set up a spam filter? I could just ignore you. It's just as effective.
You just mark me as spam, so the inbox automatically.
I mentally mark you as spam. I don't even bother.
That's why I have 20 different email addresses now. I rotate them through to try to get past your spam filter.
That delete button on your keyboard's looking a little worn out, Mark.
I wondered how he was still managing to schedule things with me.
I want to be cognizant of the time. I know we're coming up to the end of the hour here. Is there anything that either one of you want to make sure that you mentioned that we haven't talked about yet?
No. I think, this is great. I think, we, to be frank with the community, right? We as product managers, the community is really challenging us to think bigger and, not just prioritize these ideas, but also find themes within the ideas, right? So one of the interesting things we're noticing is there's a lot of similar ideas. They're not necessarily the same idea, but a similar theme And one thing we're thinking about is maybe we combine like 3-4 ideas and then we like re-architect something, right, and build like a really big feature from that. So I think you're challenging us, to think bigger and to kind of improve experience. It's not just like one siloed feature. So keep the ideas coming, and super excited about kind of this new idea exchange and the new platform.
Great, Scott.
Great,
I just
Scott.
want to encourage. Hey, at least you got the name right.
Yeah, Alan, can you just... Well,
Great Alan doesn't have the same ring to it.
no, it doesn't. No Back to the Future reference either in that.
No, I just want to encourage, as many people to participate in prioritization, not only because I think it's really valuable information for us as a company and for our product team, but given the whole COVID-19 situation going on right now too, we're also committed to donating $10,000 to Habitat for Humanity if we can get at least 4,000 participants in prioritization. And if we get double that, we will double our donation of $20,000, which we think is going to go to a great cause because Habitat's really trying to support people with their housing situation when we're all supposed to be sheltering from home. So
You said 4,000 people was the first benchmark. What was in the last round? What was the participant level?
it was around 4,000. So we're at least trying to meet what we did back in January, but we really love to exceed that and double it.
Okay, you hear that, listeners? First off, you're going to go prioritize, and you can find that at ideas.salesforce.com/s/prioritization, or I'm sure Scott will have a better, shorter link to provide.
Well, ideas.salesforce.com, click on the prioritization tab. How about that?
All right, that works too. And go and prioritize, and then we're going to go old-fashioned chain letter. You must share that prioritization link with 10 other people in the community, end users, admins, developers, it doesn't matter, and get them to do the prioritization. And if you don't, well, nothing's going to happen to you because chain letters don't have any mystical power over you. But we will be disappointed if we don't hit that. Very. And we will know I can't even do this with straight for. We will know if you didn't share. We won't, but pretend. Feel the pressure and just go do it. And while you're at it, you might as well share the podcast with them too. That would be helpful as well.
And if you handwrite your chain letter, please send it via first class mail because there's only 2 weeks to do this. And we want as many participants as possible.
Support your postal service.
Scott, we'll start with you. If people want to give you feedback or comment about what's going on with the prioritization or the idea exchange in general, how should they reach out to you or share that information?
First, I'd say hit us up on the Trailblazer community in the Idea Exchange Reimagine group, because if you've got feedback, you can share it openly there so others can benefit. You can also hit me up on Twitter, Scotty from SF. Happy to engage there as well.
Okay. And Anusha, do you want to expose yourself to even more feedback outside of the Idea Exchange by sharing some contact information?
Yeah, of course. Definitely love the different feedback channels we have. You can there's a few different ways to get to me. I also have a Twitter account at Shri Anusha. You can also email me directly, and I've seen customers do that. So you can email me at asurepeddi@salesforce.com. I do go through all the feedbacks that are coming in. Or the other ways, you can add me on LinkedIn. Sometimes I get feature requests like that as well. So
wow,
you can find me anywhere, Anusha Surepeddi. So whatever channel is best suited, I'll look into it.
And we'll have links in the show notes if you want to have a more concrete thing. Well, Anusha and Scott, I want to thank you very much for coming on to our podcast and sharing about the prioritization and the perspective from a product manager who's gone through it. Thank you very much, and please stay safe, stay healthy, and keep the good things coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to the community. And yes, thanks to all of our product managers who have been along with us for the journey. Looking forward to more fun.
Now go out there and prioritize. No.
Prioritize?
Do the thing that we told you to do. You know what I'm talking about. Wizardcast is produced by Brian Kwong and Mark Russ, directed by Brian Kwong and Mark Russ, technical administration by Brian Kwong and Mark Russ, script writing by Brian Kwong and Mark Russ, audio editing by Brian Kwong and Mark Russ, website maintenance by Brian Kwong and Mark Russ, and our intern this episode was Adam Siegelman. Congrats on the new job, Adam.
Can you pronounce his name right? Siegelman? You said Siegelman.
What did you want me to say?
The way it's pronounced.
Which is how?
Seligman.
Seligman?
Seligman.
Seligman?
Look at the name. The L is before the G, Brian.
What did I say again?
You said Siegelman.
And this might be why Adam never came on the show. And our intern this episode was Adam Selgum. Damn.
Safe harbor.
Big 3.
Hey, Mark, who was our intern this episode?
Don't foist this off on me. This is your bit. You wrote it. You stuck by it for 109 episodes. And you're going to change it now?
Good idea. No, this is what we need to do. We tell me the name correctly.
Seligman.
Seligman. Did I get it? Seligman.
Close enough.
And our intern this episode was Adam Selgman. No, I didn't do it right. This is what we have to do. Okay? Screw this. It's just going to be a cut of me trying to do it right over and over again. And our intern this episode was Adam Siegelman. Seligman?
Seligman.
Seligman?
Seligman.
Seligman.
Yes. Seligman.
Seligman.
It's good enough.
It's just that over and over and over and over and over. And then finally we end with, and our intern this episode it was
Adam Seligman.
And that's how we ended that. Sorry, Adam.
What is going on?
I wish I hadn't taken medication so I could blame it on the medication.
I maintain that you did, and one of the side effects is you don't remember.
Remember what?
Exactly. And you could be an intern too. Just follow us at Wizards. I haven't taken anything.
Don't edit any of this. Just go. It's just all of it in.
And you can be an intern too. Just follow us at wizardcast_pod on Twitter.
Or just do that, because we're not going to be seeing each other at any events anytime soon, unfortunately. But if you happen to do, feel free to take pictures of us and share them on social media so we can add you to the list.
If you have a joke, interview suggestion, or other comments, you can let us know by calling and leaving a voice recording at 608-492-0321 or email wizardcast@thewizardnews.com.
And we will do another Idea Exchange highlight episode. So if you have after this one, if you have an idea you would like us to talk about and maybe even try to get the product manager on to talk about it with us, let us know about it.
Go to bit.ly/idea highlight to submit the idea to us.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Wizardcast and receive our next episode automatically.
And please post reviews on Apple Podcasts, aka iTunes, or your podcast app, and share this episode. It helps others to hear what you just had to endure.
Once again, I'm Brian.
Did you seriously just do that?
Not on purpose.
Oh my God. And I'm should be surprised, but I'm not.
Thanks for listening. So, this bit now. When will we get there? When? Now I want to go get the actual lines from Spaceballs and do the full joke, but we don't have the time for that, because that was now. Or that was then. I'm very confused. And not just then, I'm confused now, and probably be confused later.
I'm totally going to cut like a good chunk of this.
The whole episode, there's no plot, there's no joke. It's just straight to Scott and Anusha.
It's just Brian can't figure out how to do the line from Spaceballs. He's just trying different things over and over again. He can't get it right, but by God, he's going to keep going.